fans are very attractive. The ceiling fans are very attractive.
Coming soon to wherever your televised vision plays your programming. It's the new series, Yellowstone, Part Ducks. It's the story of a family, a very corrupt family, a son and his, kind of dimensioned father, and they're always fighting. Both of them are confused, and we're confused. The father says, I found stuff in your house shouldn't be there, I'm putting you in jail. And the son says, oh yeah? Well, I found even more stuff in a bunch of your places, I'm gonna put you in jail. But the thing is, neither one of them know. They're just puppets to the real master. No, the real master. And so, they all play their part. Who will win? Well, he doesn't know. Coming soon to the televised vision near you. Yellowstone. Part Ducks.
The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
You're all individuals! Yes, we're all individuals!
Clickety-click.
Crank up the music. Keep an eye on the back.
This presentation is provided to you to amuse or entertain and not to conform or inform. The content on this channel should not be used to replace professional, financial, medical, or legal advice. All footage taken and used from public sources falls under the Fair Use of the Digital Millennial Copyright Act of 1998. Therefore, no breach of privacy or copyright has been committed. This show is substantially sourced, not affiliated with any community, club, fraternity, or gang. Your cat may vary. I say, moo. After my eye doctor's appointment, my doctor said to me, "I have your test results." I said to the doctor, "Can I see them?" He said, "Probably not."
Satellite tracking continues.
Wow. Hey, everybody. It's Friday night. I'm so late, it's almost Saturday. Dun-dun-dun. But no, glad you're all here. God bless you all for being here. It's wonderful to have another gathering as we fight off all the craziness of the world. So let's see. The first thing I need to do, my lovely wife's refilling my coffee already, but let me turn my camera on here. First, she's going to fill my coffee because she's not a big on-camera person. Thank you, love. Oh, you did? Yes. Yeah, jeez. Well, let me turn on the camera. I'm doing a live show. I can't worry about the mouse. Let's see. Clickety click. Where is it? There we are. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Good to be seen by you all tonight. My cat likes to bring in trophies. Unfortunately, they're not always dead, and so she brought in a mouse tonight, and we see it running around the room. So fun times. But hey, I'm glad that you're all here. Welcome. The chat's flying. It's hard for me to keep up on, but I like to put as many people on there as I see. I see a lot of familiar faces popped in here. They're saying hi, and it's wonderful to see you all again. I can't believe it. It's already another Friday. It doesn't seem like we were just here. I don't know. It's just they go by so fast. But you know, if you read the book like I read it, God says in these times they'll go faster. So He says it much better, obviously, than I did. But yeah, for sure. First time. Wow, first time. I've heard that name before. Unless it's a famous name. I've heard that name. But welcome. Yes, there's a live mouse in the house, thanks to Sarah. So, anyways, she doesn't, I guess she's not sure on the parameters of what she's supposed to do. Like, they're supposed to be dead if they're in the house. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Let's see. So let's see. What are we doing here? Yeah, we can talk about all kinds of stuff. I got, of course, as you know, always know, I have a million tabs. Tonight, I wanted to touch again on the times that we find ourselves in, where I believe is the little season. And with that, I also thought a good way to segue into the Mandela effect for people that are Mandela curious and maybe don't know what's going on, or maybe don't believe that something's going on there. And so I think that's a good way of proving the supernatural that we live in. So we'll cover some of that. And I apologize to the Rev. He saw last night, it said on my thumbnail, special guest, the Mandela effect, and it had a picture of Nelson Mandela. I thought it was self-explanatory, but apparently it wasn't. So it's not an extra person. It's just me. Okay.
That's very true.
Somebody that thought there was a special guest that looked identically to Nelson Mandela. Wisconsin, all the way from Wisconsin. Anybody know that cartoon? God, what was that called? Foster's Kids or something like that. It was a cartoon. Anyways, I'm already rambling, but welcome all the way from Wisconsin. Lots of things to talk about. Crazy weather, stock market popping and going and all that stuff, and of course we've got space news, and then we'll throw in the Mandela and a bunch of other things in there, and we should have a good time and keep here for a few hours. So you think? Yes, you're commenting about my cat. He's using the master practices karate. I wish I was in what do you call a Looney Tunes cartoon, but no, she's just bringing in live mice for our benefit and pleasure, I guess she thinks. So whatever. Okay. Let's see. Where should we go? Let's start with clearing some of these tabs. Let's see what we have here. I don't want to start there. Well, I can. Let me scoot that one over. Let me move it to a different spot. And we'll put it right here. I have to hold my finger to move things around. Okay. Yeah, that's a good spot. So, well, okay, this is kind of funny. One of my tabs covers Wisconsin. And so please don't is he I can't even show this now. I feel bad. He's brand new to me from Wisconsin. I mean no ill will on this. But how about this? It's more of a question, okay? If for my fans from Wisconsin. I'm being nice. But this came across my desk. So why hasn't Wisconsin taken this piece of Michigan that's not connected to Michigan? Now, I'm not saying this. I'm just showing you that thumbnail. But it is a question. If you're from Wisconsin, why don't you ask your governor or something and find out why you can't just annex it? I mean, Trump could go around the board and take over all the different playing pieces. Why can't Wisconsin take back from Michigan? I mean, how did you lose it to them anyways? It doesn't make any sense. So you should look into that. I know, JT, a lot of tabs. Hey, I'd rather have more tabs than I know what to do with than end up with not having enough. But if you need any extra tabs, I obviously have some. You can have some. Okay. Well, I didn't want to cover this right away because this is sort of also Mandela. But for those of you that we are playing along, the character of Val Kilmer passed away was a couple days ago. And it's interesting because everyone's like, oh, he's the greatest actor of all time. And you know what? Tombstone. I'll give him Tombstone. But other than that, I mean, they said he only had like 10 minutes of screen time in that propaganda film Top Gun and nothing in the new one. I mean, don't even look at that one. But and then what else? He was honestly not one of the better Batmans. I mean, you got to go Keaton first, of course. There's no arguing with this. I'm right. Keaton first, and then you go with the Christopher Nolan movies. Who's that guy? That guy, Christian Slater. No, what was it? Christian. What was that guy's name? Oh, the other Batman. He was more a like dark Batman instead of the one I grew up with Michael Keaton. Iceman was your favorite? Yeah, okay, Willow. But I wasn't all that fan of that movie. Sorry, I'm just not a big fan of that. And of course, The Doors. But honestly, who couldn't play Jim Morrison? I mean, seriously, you put on the hair and the makeup or whatever, and I think just about anybody. The Saint. I didn't even see that. Is that supposed to be good? Everyone's telling me so
Yeah, Chris, you're right. Batman Forever did suck, but he wasn't such a bad Batman. I'll give you that. But just anyways. But here's the thing. We'll talk about the Mandela effect tonight, but this is one of them, and I find it interesting because this is the clip that they're all grabbing from Tombstone. Because the way I remember it is the line he says, "I'll be your Huckleberry," but apparently he never said it that way. And even I've seen interviews where he said it that way in the interview, but in the actual movie, he says, "I'm your Huckleberry."
You had it in you.
I'm your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry. I'm sorry. I'll forever hear to my head, "I'll be your Huckleberry." But that's just me and hundreds of other people. So yeah, we'll cover Mandela effect. But anyways, rest in peace, the character of Val Kilmer. Because honestly, we don't even know if these people, what they do. You can watch a bunch of channels where they tell you that they've turned into other people. Elvis is supposedly Trump on some channels. So I don't know. He said, "I'm your Huckleberry" earlier in the movie. Oh, but right here he says, "I'm your Huckleberry," and I remember it, "I'll be your Huckleberry." That's just the way. Yeah, I know. You want to watch it again? Yeah. So, okay. But remember, this is a good segue. These people, who are these people? We grew up watching them, and these are some of my favorite handlers, as I always say. But God says to have no idols. And it's not just like, idols like statues and fake gods and stuff. They think of themselves as idols, right? Hollywood, the stars, the fallen stars, it's all connected. I mean, the propaganda that comes through the TV screens and the movie screens, it comes out of these people because they're really good at their craft. Their craft, exactly. And because of that, then they send through the propaganda that they want. The fact that these movies and stuff are entertaining, that's just the thing to suck you in. Someone thought he'd already died? Yeah. Well, I think he was circling the drain for a while there when he was he looked like a heavy set woman for a while and a scarf and all that stuff. He supposedly was going through some kind of treatments. I don't know what. But then they said he died of pneumonia. Right. A lot of people died of pneumonia lately after the last few years that I can't talk about. And just so you know, you think we're on a free speech. We're not. Last week's show, and it was whatever we did, 3 hours, I lost my monetization on it. Why? Because I talked and looked at, I think it was a 5-second clip about some humorous headwear. That's all I'll say. And because of that clip, they took away with no chance for redeemment. I asked for a review and they're like, "Yeah, no, you're a horrible person." So I still try to do my best to, but they still get to run ads on those, and people still can write me and say, "Oh, I had a bunch of ads." I don't get any money for that show. Not that I get that much as it is. So yeah, they make it very difficult to talk about things. So he died of pneumonia. Wink, wink. How about that? Okay, and he was only 65. So yeah, pretty young, I think. Well, JT, I didn't have a chance. You're asking if I could trim out the segment. They said it was limited. I didn't know why, so I sent it in for a human review, and they do the human review, and they're like, "Yeah, no, you can't run ads," but they never tell you what portion it was they didn't like. Although I know, and they don't give you another chance at it. Like if you've asked for a review and you got it, you're done. And I just don't feel like fighting them. So we'll move on. Okay, but what's that? I didn't hear you. What did you say? Silent wife's talking to me. I missed something. Okay, so where we at? So don't have any of these idols. Just so you know, it's time to tear them down. Same with this guy, and we think we know them because we like their movies. But as much as I like his movies because they're just stupid and he does crazy karate, I think Time Cop was like the wildest one I remember. But he's allegedly, according to these articles from somewhere in the Europe, Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's become a defendant in a criminal case on this stuff in Romania. So again, we think we know them, but we don't. And so don't just have no other idols. Okay, that's all I can say on that. And pretty soon they won't need any of them. Now, I remember a movie in the 80s that most people haven't seen. If you can find it, I think it still holds up. It's called Looker. And it was about in the 80s, they had this technology that they could take an actor, an actress, and scan it with a laser computer. And then they could then take that and make AI basically back then. And you wouldn't need the actor or actress. You could make them say whatever you want. And this just came out from China the other day. And this lady is making her character Marilyn Monroe.
And then I did want it. And now I really want it. And I want to do it well.
So, like, they're not even going to need humans soon enough, right? Because this technology, and they've had this for a while, they're just slowly rolling it out. But, you know, you can be...
And now I really want it.
I don't know who that is. Who is that? Is that Game of Thrones lady? I don't know. You know, but this is all AI generated. All of this. And then they can even make it a cartoon.
Heights and fire and the dark and crowds and big places and small places and just a few things.
So, you know, you're not going to need anybody to draw anything anymore. You're not going to need actors and actresses. It's just going to be AI. In fact, my wife and I were talking about this. You know, they say that all these movies, they tell us, you know, Terminator and Matrix and stuff, and how it's all going to take over. And it's already in the process. It's happening right under our feet, because most people, and I'm not saying like the people necessarily that are watching me or, you know, of a certain age, but, you know, 20s and under and so forth, they're using these machines, and they're using now Grok and some of these other AI things. They're getting all their information off of here. They're getting all their news on here. They're getting their movies, their TV, whatever. They're getting all of it from these machines. And then think about this too. Books are in here. And so if somebody was to like rewrite the ending to Moby Dick where he catches a whale, spoiler alert, he doesn't. The newest generation coming up won't know, because they won't have a physical book. You know, they used to tease us and say that there's going to be a day when Fahrenheit 451 and they're going to burn all the books. They don't have to. People just stop buying them. People just stop buying physical things. Like, people don't even have currency, gold or silver anymore, right? They have Bitcoin, which doesn't exist. And so it's the same thing with books and movies and news and everything. It's all going to come through these machines. The B system is right in front of us, and we pay for it. I mean, I don't, no mistake about it. I understand I'm using it right now, or I couldn't be talking to you. But we're paying for this. Let me stop this. How do I get out of this? There. We're paying for this enslavement, this beast system coming in. It's fascinating to watch, because the people in charge, and I'm not even saying who they are, I'm just saying whoever they are or whatever they are, they're very cheap, and they don't have to spend a lot of money to enslave the population, to give the propaganda, to change change history. I've talked about it on this show before. Our history, when I grew up, we read that Paul Revere did the Midnight Ride and one if by land, two if by sea, the British are coming. Now, when you read that, it's completely changed. They said he never made it. They said he got captured, and they stole his horse, and he walked into Lexington after it all happened. But just so happened to have a relative or a friend of a relative that wrote a good poem, and everyone, you know, they make monuments and stuff, even though none of that happened. You know, and don't get me started on Christopher Columbus and what they said happened with him. And then later on, they told us the true story, you know. And so it's so easy to change history. And if it's all digital, it's even easier. You know, we watched a guy, he was playing Lambeau Field, and he took a shot where he landed on his head, and he didn't move. And my wife and I both thought he died. And I was about to sneeze. And I went on, of course, at that time, the best place for news was Wikipedia. And sure enough, it said he had died that minute at that Lambeau Field game or whatever. But then a half hour later, he was up and running, and I don't know if he went back in the game, and I went back and checked, and they had updated it. No, he wasn't dead. But just the fact that someone could go in there and change it that fast, live, shows you how easy it is for them to rewrite history, because nobody has any physical copies. And I'm not even talking Mandela effect. I'm just saying how easy it is to change history and take down statues and rewrite history. They say, because, they don't teach cursive. Like people nowadays, they don't even know how to read or write cursive. And so another generation or so, the Constitution, if that actually is still working, is written in cursive. And so there'll be a period in time coming soon that people won't be able to read it unless they ask Grok or some computer AI, whatever, to tell them what it is. And so as AI takes over these machines and gives them all their news, all their movie, all their music. I mean, think about it. People really, a few, but overall, people aren't buying albums or CDs or cassette tapes. It's all digital. Everything's digital. And so that's the beast system. And it's right around us. Everyone's buying Ring cameras to watch their doorbells and Alexas to listen in on their houses. And it's here now. It's the slow boil of the frog. And so what do we do about it? Well, I found it fascinating that between the time of when the flood happened, and there was only Noah's family left, and Abraham, I think, being around 30 years of age or so, was a period of about 420 years. And it says in the Bible that Abraham was the only righteous man left. And it's shocking to me, because if you were part of the people on the ark and witnessed the flood, that would really be all you would ever talk about. And you definitely would acknowledge God at that point, because you saw the whole world destroyed. And then you would teach that to your children, and they would teach that to their children. But somewhere along that telephone game, people stopped teaching it and telling the story, and they got further and further away from God, and they started praying to the other idols and stuff like they had before. And then here we are. Where's that gal?
And so here we are.
And so it's like on a repeat shuffle. God talks about this all the time. There's no new thing under the sun. There's no, well, it used to be there's nothing new under the sun, but that changed. But in any case, we're doing it again. And it only took a few generations, because my parents, they grew up in a time when the family was a unit. The mom worked and stayed at home, and the dad went out and worked. The mom took care of the family, and there was that they would pass down all the knowledge and stuff. You weren't looking to put them away in a home. You were there to take care of each other and learn from each other. And then right around the time of my childhood, families started getting separated. Mom started going to work, 2 incomes. The dinner every night at the table and stuff wasn't happening anymore. And what did they introduce too? That box, the Teley's Vision box, and away we went. And so then you get into my generation that really wasn't spiritual or religious at all. And then, of course, I didn't teach my children to be like that. And so they have really no understanding of the things that I talk about now. But I came across these late in life. Had I known them now, what I know now then, I would have changed things and made it different. But that's kind of where we find ourselves. Now I can understand how they could forsake God after, seeing the flood. And so the best we can do is give our testimonials, be a witness to what we see and hear, and be an example. So that way, people that don't listen to what we're saying or believe in God or Jesus or the Bible, they can see how it's enhancing our life. and we could, as they say, lead by example. And so then maybe they'll research it and look into it for themselves. But that's the best that we can do. And,
True. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
all right. So where were we? Let's go back into the show here. You missed the 80s, JT? Yeah, that's well, that was from my Saturday morning cartoons, that drop I just did. And I did have something for that. Where is that? It's one of these. We'll go out of order. We can do that. It's my show. I can do what I want. Where to go? Clickety click. Okay. Well, it's pretty close to this. Let's just finish this one up. We'll go here. It's 2 away from that. Okay. So we'll go clickety click. Okay. So it's this one. So I don't know if you all saw this. They changed the bats for the Yankees, and they put more wood at this middle or this end here. Which honestly, I looked into it, and I think that was a Seinfeld episode about this, or something close to it. And immediately they got a whole bunch of home runs supposedly. And so then, of course, from there they showed off what their gloves are going to look like. I love the Babylon Bee. You can never tell which is real news and which isn't. Oh, let's see. There you go, JT. I don't know if you all remember this, but my wife and I were talking about this the other day. This was the best school lunch. This square or rectangular pizza, it was delicious, and a reduced fat chocolate milk. I love that day when it happened on school lunches. School lunches were the best. Sorry. Okay. And then does anybody remember YouTube back in the day? See, this is down memory lane, right? It was so much a simpler time. Cat videos, of course. No matter what you did, if you were on YouTube long enough, you'd end up with cat videos. I know I saw this one. I've seen most of these, actually. I can actually hear this guy's voice and that. And I had this as my screensaver for a while. So, yeah. They remember that? Yeah, I do. Nowadays, it's all this. And see, that's the thing. As people stopped going to regular news channels and they went into the internet, YouTube and stuff, well, of course, they all followed. And so now it's no longer a lot of information. You really have to weed through a whole bunch of mainstream garbage or deceivers to find any information anymore. Gone are the days of the serious gopher or whatever that was. So, all right. Because this is what I feel like now. I think this just happened at my house the other day. Didn't it, honey? What? Did that just happen at the house the other day? Or you're on? You're in the past. I have to wait 5 seconds. But yeah, this is my house. So you're way behind. You need to hit live refresh. She's not even seeing the jokes that I'm talking about. Yeah, that's our house, right? But at least look, she's bringing the coffee, so that was nice. Jobs aren't that great, yeah, but they do help pay the bills. I can only get so much through YouTube, and Rumble, I can't even get the money. Rockfin's just, I don't know what's going on there. Still waiting for them to pay me on stuff, so we'll just we'll keep plugging along. We'll do what we can. Being hated for loving the freedom has been the strangest experience of my life. Amen to that. And is that everything? Oh, and I thought this one was great. You guys know what the difference between these two pictures are. So here you got a monkey, you got a man, and then between you've got 3 imaginary creatures. And then here you got a monkey and a man, and again, 3 imaginary creatures. There really is no difference between those pictures, right? Okay. Is that it? Oh, and this one. So Canada, they really need to just be the 51st state. And I know I have Canadians that watch me, but it's time. Because now the New York Post just came out and said Americans are nicer than Canadians on the airplane etiquette in the survey. Now, that's all Canada had going for it, honestly, right? Because the United States really doesn't need anything from Canada. We can produce it ourselves. We've protected them, and, we've been nice to them. They have good weed, but now we can too. So they only had being nice, and now, as this person says, now you have nothing. You have nothing. So they might as well just be the fifth. I mean, again, Mandela effect, I thought there was 52 states, but let's just pretend in the real world we're at, there's 50. They need to be the 51st because they pretty much have been already. So, okay. And then while we're on the subject of places, let me go to this. Where is it? I have a story from Australia.
Crikey! It's news for Australians, mate. Good day. Here's your news, straight from Australia. We once were a prison colony, and now we done separated into many colonies. I've lost my accent. Crikey! Those look mountainous. Wow! You'll have to learn not only to drive on the wrong side of the road, but upside down. Bonza!
Okay, so if it wasn't already crazy enough out in Australia, they say everything out there is going to kill you or trying to. But here's a scene where these people were on the beach having a party, and a bunch of, I don't even know these existed, robber crabs invaded a family picnic. Can you imagine? Look at the size. Did you see the size of these, honey? They're crazy big. I mean, hopefully they're edible. What? That's what I'm saying. Hopefully they're edible and you can make some money off them or eat them. But look how many there are. Yeah, honey, we have crabs. Is that nuts? So, yeah. But they just seem like they don't care. Those Australians are like, yeah, everything's trying to kill us. That's my Australian accent, but isn't that something? So, anyways. Let's see, where are we at? Oh, you're here, Rev. I was talking about you earlier. That means you're tardy. Where's my guy? Oh, he has? Okay, then he's not tardy. Never mind. What is this? Oh, yeah, by the way, we might as well cover these two things. Crazy tornadoes going on out in all over the, like, what is it, the East Coast, Mid-East Coast, somewhere in there. But wild, I think all through Arkansas and Tennessee, and this one was Lake City. Just crazy. The weather warfare is really out of control. And so that was going on there. There's been another couple of major earthquakes. Then, of course, and if you haven't already seen it, go on my channel. Not now. Let's wait till the end of the show. I've got a video on there that I did with the gentleman, Joey Rocha, that he worked for Expedia in Hawaii. And we go over the volcano hoax because there is a hoax to it. All you see the majority of the time in these eruptions is this. Smoke and ash. The same thing that happened out here in Washington when Mount St. Helens went up, and a bunch of others. The volcano shooting all the lava in the sky and stuff. That's propaganda to get tourists. I mean, you can watch that video. It's I think it's very telling. But again, these are all just our ideas. There's nothing I can prove to you. I can just show you the information I've seen. And you can use your own judgments as you see fit. So that's going on there. Okay, we cover the crabs in Australia. And I don't know, is anyone else obsessed with these? I didn't know they existed, but now watching a frog in a time lapse go into sand, I find very humorous. And I even found another angle. Look at this. Come on, there's something about that that's mesmerizing. I don't know, maybe just me. Okay. Let me stop this because I need to give a shout out, a thank you. Somewhere here. Where is it? How come I can't find it? There we are. Thank you, Trish. God bless you. I was supposed to. Oh, she's busy she's watching another live stream, I guess. I'll let her know. I'll let her know. But thank you. God bless you. Like I said, that all helps, especially when they take away all my advertisement money because I dare talk about the wrong people. And that's the thing. You can always tell who's in charge. They're the ones you can't talk about, right? So wherever my guys are.
True. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Certain conversations you just can't have on YouTube or anywhere else. The rules are the same for everyone. Okay. So let me clear some of these crazy tabs again. Okay. Let's go back up here. I hadn't planned on going through the whole animal thing here, but here we are. So we'll finish it up. Let's see. So we had the frog spinning in the sand or dirt. Okay, this thing. And I'm not even saying this is a Mandela effect. What the heck is this thing? I never knew about this bird with whatever that thing is hanging down. What the heck? Does it make noise? Let's see. No, there's no noise on this. It's just wrong. Something about this is just wrong. And I don't even know what it's for. How does that help this bird at all? I would think it would get caught on things. Sweet beard? Yeah. So I don't even know what that is. Yeah, they asked what dimension did this creature come from? Here we go. The long wattled umbrella bird. Oh, it's like a crow. Okay. But just got hit with the ugly stick, I guess. So there you go. It's a long wattle. Oh, there's sound on this one. Let's see. I don't hear anything. Whoa. So it's a train whistle? You hear that again. Oh, come on. Oh, geez. Ah, geez. All right. Well, as long as we're on the crow subject, somebody had mentioned on my live stream when I was discussing birds, because I had a whole discussion about birds and what I think about them. And someone said that it's illegal to own a crow. And of course, YouTube's like, hey, I heard you think you like to talk about crows and hear about their legality. And this showed up on my feed. Where'd it go? Now it's gone. What happened?
Owning a crow as a pet? Completely illegal across all states in the US. Even if you wanted to, there's no permit that allows private ownership. And before you ask, what about zoos? Well, technically, even they aren't supposed to have them. But authorities have bigger issues to handle, so it's not exactly their top priority. Now, you might be wondering, why such a strict rule on crows? Here's the deal. These birds are incredibly intelligent, with problem-solving skills comparable to a 7-year-old child. That intelligence can be misused. There have been numerous cases where people have trained crows to steal cash just by offering food in return. Some...
And I'm definitely going to start looking
owning
into
a crow as a...
Shoot, with our crows out here. How do you keep going?
Misused. There have been numerous cases where people have trained crows to steal cash just by offering food in return. Some even hang around ATMs, snatching bills right out of people's hands before flying back for their reward. And it doesn't stop there. There's a story from 2011 where inmates managed to teach a crow to smuggle contraband into prison, including a knife. They simply kept feeding it, and each time the bird brought back something sharper.
Isn't that fantastic? So we got to get working on our crows, son. Oh, she's not there. Okay. So there you go. That's more on crows. But even more, yeah, penguins do need to be looking into. We'll have to go into that another time. But even more disturbing than what we just witnessed, how crows can be taught to bring in contraband into jail. Did you know chickens can put together dog fights? I mean, this was terrible. You think cat juggling is bad? These chickens paid for a dog fight. This needs to be stopped. We need to shut this down. Chickens hiring dogs to fight is not good. So I'm putting that out there. I'm against it. Oh, shoot. Okay. It is funny, isn't it? Before you sit down, have more coffee. I need to get a thermos or something. Okay. And this is one of my newest favorite things. Oh, yes, please. Dale's right. Make sure you hit the like button, everyone, if you're enjoying this, please. And even if you're not enjoying it, it helps the algorithm. This is one of my new favorite things. Is it in Mexico? Yeah, the dog fight might have been in Mexico. They keep having people doing that. What's that? Sign language, and they're fake, and they actually don't know sign language, and they're just BSing their way through. Thanks, honey. Like the most famous one recently was that one where the president, there's no vetting on these people. I don't understand it. But this is like the second time for the police department that they had someone that absolutely has no idea what they're signing because they don't know sign language.
And again, another sign language interpreter accused of signing total gibberish. This time it was at the police news conference announcing an arrest in the Tampa serial killings.
We will be charging 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Standing off to the side,
This is great.
Apparently translating every word, this woman.
We received over 5,000 tips in this case.
But it turns out much of what she was signing was nonsense.
Isn't that fantastic? It's fantastic. Yeah, the police also speak gibberish, but no, isn't that great? Like, I don't understand how these people keep getting through. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. She's signing in tongues. And I agree. Dale says, why don't they just turn on the captions? Why do we have to go back to sign language? What's wrong with captions? It reminds me back in the day that if you're old enough, the Saturday Night Live, when it was actually funny, they used to have Chevy Chase did the news, and then Garrett Morrison would come in the end for the hard of hearing, and he'd say the top story tonight, and Garrett Morrison would just scream, "Our top story!" It's the same kind of thing. Nothing's changed. So, but this is supposedly real. Fantastic. Okay. What's next? Oh, this is just an Outback, pulling an Outback, parked out back at an Outback. That's some funny stuff right there. Come on. It's got to be. Yeah. All right. What's next? The guy with the worst grade should get to give a graduation speech too. We should be able to hear both sides. I totally believe that. And then here, everyone's talking about how we're doing Idiocracy, but we're actually both movies. We're doing the WALL-E. And remember the scene in WALL-E where everyone's just sitting on a chair and they get so fat because they're not doing anything. The chair takes them everywhere. They've actually created it. Volkswagen, and this is a real story. I looked into this. They've created a high-tech office chair you can drive around at 12 miles an hour top speed. And pretty soon in Idiocracy, there'll be a toilet in here too, I believe, right? So, yeah. So, there we go. We'll get red jumpsuits soon. Oh, Scott wants one. Scottish Tart wants one. Would be fun to race people. Meanwhile, what happened to the Epstein files? What happened to abolishing the income tax? What happened to the ending the taxes on tips? And what happened to checking for gold in Fort Knox? And I'm sure there's a whole other list of things that they said they're going to do, and they still haven't done it. But meanwhile, Trump's now got a new thing he's selling. He's selling the golden ticket. It's also named the Trump card. And for $5 million, $5 million, you can buy your way into the country, basically. So, yeah, $5 million you buy into America. You get the golden ticket from Willy Wonka. So, oh, Rev, you needed it today? Good. I'm glad we're here laughing at this stuff because the whole world's a joke. I mean, the fact that here, look at this one. Doesn't that look exactly like C-3PO? And this is supposedly a one of the giants of Monte Prama. Where is this? In Italy. They were discovered in 1974. And I don't know, maybe if you're a nerd enough of Star Wars, you'll hear George Lucas saying this was the inspiration for C-3PO. But I just saw that and I'm like, well, that's really weird. Anyways, moving on. So you can get your $5 million Trump card. And then there's this. And I checked everyone. The Trump people don't know what he's talking about here. The operation's over. The patient lived and is healing. The prognosis of the patient will be far stronger, bigger, better, more resilient than ever before. Make America. The Q people didn't know what was going on. I mean, everyone's got their theories, and the anti-Trump people are just saying he's lost his mind again. So, anyways, he put that out. He's one of the biggest trolls there is with this Twitter stuff, X or whatever. And then this, of course, in case you're not paying attention as we play along, the list of the reciprocal terrorists came out. And as you go down the list, I can't make this any larger. That's what she said. And you pick out this one here. Hopefully you can see the name of this place here. And it's the only one at 33%. Of course. All right. So there's, there. Now you can see it bigger. Yeah, it's the only one at 33%. Just saying. It's kind of funny. What's next? And then this is another troll he's doing. He's throwing it out there that he's going for a third term, fourth term. And at one point last time, he had this thing on Twitter, back when it was called Twitter, where it showed him being president forever. He's talked about, you won't need to vote again. And there's, of course, the books, The Last President and stuff. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see, but he definitely is one of the greatest trolls there is out there. And then again, let's just remember how close we were to losing him. I mean, because that's what you do. If there's an active shooter that's already shot you once, gather around and yeah, this arm's going to block him, right? And this is that one gal that doesn't know how to put her gun away, I think, or this one. And, look, believe what you want. What I saw was, because he's a wrestler, this is like right out of the WWE. And, of course, he's got his fight, right? Because if there's an active shooter, and he's like the tallest guy there, we're definitely going to do that. We're going to take time for this, right? And the photo of the bullet that zipped by him was taken by the same guy that was filming when the towers fell in 2001 and George Bush was reading a book to the kids. Same photographer captures a bullet flying by. It's all pretty amazing theater that we're watching. Now he goes down Periscope, but you can still see him. Anyways, enough of that. And if I was to ask you who Thomas Crook is, I wonder if anybody in this audience, I mean, there might be a few that could tell me who Thomas Crook is, because if you asked me, I wouldn't even know. Meanwhile, it's this guy. He's supposedly the guy that, took the shot. Where'd this story go? I'm going to sneeze again. Sorry. Right? The bullet's gone, and so is this story. It got buried faster than anything. Buried faster than somebody on the Sopranos. Yeah. Very few people would remember his picture, and if he did, you might not remember what it was about. But he definitely wouldn't remember his name. So, yeah, he's probably AI. Exactly. I thought that was interesting. But meanwhile, back to, let's see. First we did, what was that one movie? We did Wall-E. And back to Idiocracy, we get this. We want to be taken seriously. Kid Rock visited the White House. And correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not wrong here. Didn't we get all, like, we were supposed to be all pissed off and upset about Zelensky wearing, like, some old sweatshirt to the White House? But we're fine with this? I mean, really? Okay. I guess so. There's nothing wrong. Let's see. Now, where do we go from here? Yeah, I mean, come on. This is like...
Of course, sir. So this is an executive order, as you said, that deals with the ticket reselling business for fans of live entertainment and for entertainers as well.
So that's what he's dealing with. The ticket prices have got too high for Kid Rock's audience. Well, they have for everyone. And so we're gonna have him sign an executive order to force, like, what, Ticketmaster and some of these other companies to, like, bring their prices down. What is going on? Shoot. So that's enough of that nonsense. And then the wild thing is people that hate Trump and call Trump and Elon Musk Nazis are spray painting swastikas on Teslas that were purchased by climate change believing, Democrat loving people. And so I like this one. But yeah, so that's interesting. I find that fascinating. Because remember, these are all just players. It's just a stage. The fact that he's doing the same thing as the Stranger in a Strange Land. And the stories about, yeah, here you go, Grok. Isn't that the name of his? I think it's right here, Grok, right? There's no coincidences. They do this on purpose to see if anyone's listening. Anyways, we can go on and on with this guy. Watch my music video. That'll tell you everything. Why are we still watching? What else is there to watch? You know what I mean? What else is there to watch? Read the Bible. Exactly. I agree. Amen. Amen. Well, look, Ceiling Fans Live on Twitter, on X. Okay. Voting doesn't matter. I don't know what this means. I'm just going to leave that there and move on. Okay. But National Geographic wants to make sure you know that all the stuff they show you is brought to you by the number 33. Oh, Mason Melt's singing, Elon. So, let's see. World makes more sense when you realize everyone in power is either a Satanist, a Satanist P, or being blackmailed by Satanist P's or Satanist P's. Sometimes it's even a Satanist P being blackmailed by another Satanist P. So there you go. That does help make the world make sense. And you're like, oh, he's out of control. Not everyone's a Satanist and all that. Look, the fact that Satan is openly talked about and idolized and discussed or whatever, and God is nowhere to be found. Once again, that's the devil's trick. It's not to make you think the devil doesn't exist. It's to make you think God doesn't exist, because everyone believes in the devil. And if you think I see Satan in everything, well, then how about this soccer game that just went down? This is a German soccer game. They said a chant about Lucifer and stuff rising from the abyss. They said two different ones. And then they changed they had cards or something to where all these people turned black, and then a pentagon came out with these people. And then right after that, they pulled up this. So Oh, it's just art. It's just their team name. It's just whatever. There's 1,000 excuses. But we know what the time we're in. We're in the little season, pizza. It's so obvious to me because this is talked about so openly now. Back in the day, they used to have to hide this stuff. Now it's right out in the open. The thing you can't talk about, of course, is God, Jesus, Christianity, that stuff. They don't want you to talk about that in the Bible. So then, every once in a while, I try my best not to use their service, like Grok and stuff. But my wife mentioned something to me to look into. So I did. I asked Grok this question. If the devil wanted to make us all sick, what would he do? And so Grok explains it as this. If we're imagining a scenario, we're imagining it, where a devilish figure, the devil, aims to make everyone sick, it likely involves some clever large-scale tactics. He might tamper with essentials like air or water, introducing subtle contaminants that'll weaken people over time. Think heavy metals in the water supply or pollutants in the atmosphere that dodge detection. Food could be another target, maybe pushing widespread nutritional deficiencies through addictive, low-quality junk or sabotaging crops and pests or toxins that slip past safety checks. He could also exploit human behavior, amplify stress and isolation through social chaos, societal chaos, making immune systems vulnerable, or spread misinformation about health to keep people from protecting themselves. A biological angle, he might be unleashing a sneaky pathogen, something airborne and resilient that mutates just enough to stay ahead of the V. The devil's playbook would likely mix physical and psychological moves, hitting us where we least likely notice until it's too late. So there you go. Geez, that sounds crazy. That could never happen. Could never happen, right? Yeah, Jamie, trauma and poison. Exactly. Okay. All right, let's get out of this for a second here. So here's what we'll do. Yeah, check, and check. All right? Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Someone's tardy? All right. Well, since I'm out of the screen share, we can get them. Who's tardy?
I don't feel tardy. I don't feel tardy.
All right. That's enough of that. Oh, I forgot we were discussing the animals. I have one more panda video, so we might as well fire that out. We're up to panda video number 11 for those of you playing along. The playlist is out. There's 10 on my channel, but here's the brand new one.
I think pandas are sus.
Is my parents' dog moonlighting as Panda?
Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, brought to you by Silly Fan Man. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my! The thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Today's episode, how pandas are made.
Panda!
Satellite tracking continues.
So there you go. So there you go. I don't know. Are pandas like cats? I don't know. Yeah, it is something a cat would do, isn't it? Yeah. I especially like how the panda just looks at the nurse like, what do you think you're going to do about it? It's fantastic. Okay, good. Everybody seems to like it. They're heartless? What do you mean good night? What time is it there? You can't leave yet. Fine. Go to bed. Okay. All right. What's next? Yeah, right. CBS specials. And it's maybe the singing scared her away. It could be. Shoot. Okay. What's next? That's Mandela. We'll deal with that in a minute. Let's do that. Let's go through these. Clickety click. And here, and here. Okay. Here we go. Now, I know I do shows with Jen and Shapu, and they cover all the buildings. But there are things out there like Devil's Tower I still believe are trees. I do believe that there was giant trees because there were giants in those days. And so I think we still see remnants of some of that too. So yeah, I believe that was a tree. I also find these fascinating where they're finding like, there's an island that looks like an elephant, an actual one. And then this one definitely looks like a giant hand. And, they make us think that giants were like the size of David and Goliath's giant. But no, they were like Titan size. They were mountain size. So I totally believe in this. I looked it up through the Google search, and this is an actual place. So use this information as you will. You can think that that's just normal rock formation, or you can think like me and say, that definitely is a hand. So just saying. That's handy. Oh, I like you all. You're funny. So, yeah. And this one, I mean, this is a giant footprint in South Africa. How do you dismiss this? You can't. So, and we're all connected. It's all one system. That's why the Bible talks about how it's encased. It's not just a dome on the top. There, God says there's waters above and below. So the firmament goes all the way around us. That's your globe ball, whatever. And we live on the middle of the space that where the waters receded from the flood. And but make no mistake about it, it's all interconnected. And so the fact there's no coincidences. The fact that your hand and the tree trunk, is in your fingerprint and the rings on a tree. I thought that was fascinating. Look at that. That's pretty cool. The leaf in the hand. What is that? Hair and I guess hay, I think. And then this, I mean, and the roots of a tree are the same. And it's the same as your lungs. It's the same as the blood vessels. If you pulled out the chart of a human, yeah, like that. So there's no coincidences. It's obviously all made by the same creator. And it's pretty fascinating. So, and then they still want us to believe that they did this with horse and buggy and chisels and hammer. And the size of these columns are just insane. We can't produce this today, and we're supposed to be the most advanced society. In fact, to do any kind of work on this kind of stuff, we need a helicopter. They didn't have a helicopter when they built this dome. But somehow they created these things and we don't even know how they did it. Like this. Manhattan Bridge in New York City in 1930, and the great grandparents of these people with horse and buggies and chisels built it. Look at the size of this. It's ridiculous, the sizes. And the lie is so big that nobody noticed it. Nobody cared. We just had to go about our lives. And nobody thought to question, how did you build this? How did they make this? Where'd you get the raw materials? How many years, like horse and buggy and hand chisels? It makes no sense. Or these gigantic rocks that are cut in such precision. Let's see, go forward. And look at that. You guys are going to tell me that's years of erosion. I mean, look at that. It doesn't make any sense. Unless you realize that these were all some type of structures, most likely. And then what happened? God's judgment happened. That's why I believe we're in the little season, pizza. It's because you can see evidence of destruction. Now, they want you to believe it's like this. The UK is showing off their, quote, death ray. Now, we've talked about this, and I can, still have people say, oh, no, that they don't, like, set fires and things and destroy houses and stuff with these lit rays. But yet, then they'll bring out a story saying, yeah, they do. So, but that's not what would create the fervent heat that you get from stuff like this. There's no way. This comes from God's judgment. This building was melted to the point where it's dark in this area. Nobody builds like this. Go and carve out things way up here. It's just not the way it works. Who's going to come climb up here and put in bricks? It doesn't make any sense. When you just step back from it and you stop fighting it, because there's people that they refuse to see this because they refuse to believe that the Bible is true. They refuse to believe that God's real and that judgments come on this earth more than once. That's a heat we can't understand. It's called fervent heat. It's God's fire. Nobody knows. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. And multiple other places have been destroyed too. And he even says that he's going to leave remnants for us to see. So that way, hopefully, we'll remember and not, forget what happened. Because as a society, we've forgotten. And so that's partly why I'm here, and some of the other watchers that you follow on these channels, is to help remind people that they didn't build like this. How do you even think that you can build like this? Put in some bricks and leave the rock here, and put more bricks around it and leave the rocks there. And it's the only thing that makes sense is that this got heated to some form that created these rocks. And this is a building back here too. That's what it is. And what's the temperature? Ask God. I don't know. But it's undeniable that something, and you can see in this picture, you see how the landscape is taken over? That's how you end up with a mountain that was a building. Because to us, we just see the green and the trees and the stuff. But if you were to tear it all down, you'd find the structure underneath it. And don't even get me started on, I've covered it multiple times. All the churches that have letters written to them in Revelation, they're all gone. They were all destroyed eons ago, if that's a word, a long time ago. Why would we be warned, or those churches be warned, if they're not around? Now, you can project it and say, well, this church is supposed to symbolize this place and this, or you can take God at his word. You can take Jesus at his word. John and Paul. And they talk about these destructions coming in those days. And it happened. And what do we have? We have the ruins, the leftovers. So we can see what happened. That's part of this. That's why he left it. That's why we're supposed to look at these things and say, who builds like this? Let's put in a few random red bricks here, and then a bunch of like mortar here, and some wonky rocks that don't even like. I mean, this kind of reminds me of did you ever see the episode of I Love Lucy when they rebuilt the barbecue because she lost her ring in it? Like, none of this makes any sense unless you realize judgment came and these buildings were left in a way for us to know the time that we're in and take note, Don't forget, how many years did it take Noah to build the ark? And for all that time, people thought he was nuts. It's going to rain. It never rained before. Everyone's going to die. No, they didn't listen until it was too late. And so part of what I'm supposed to do is show you these pictures and say, hey, go look into this. Figure out, how did this happen? What potential disaster happened to create this scenario? And to me, the only answer you find in the Bible and some of the other extra texts, that this is God's judgment, and it happened, and we have to be vigilant. Not for his second coming, because that would have happened before all this happened, or, that would have been this, but for the final judgment where everyone's judged. Either way, you're still waiting for the same thing. You're not waiting for the destruction of the earth. You're waiting for Jesus' return, either way. And that's what we have to keep the eye on the prize kind of thing. Because nothing will bring you more peace and joy than once you realize the things that I'm talking about, God and Jesus and the Bible, they're true. It's not it can be used as a religion to keep people trapped in dogma and whatever, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you honestly do the research on this and you keep digging, you'll find out all these things are true, and you'll do it on a spiritual level, and you won't need a church. You won't need anything other than yourself, God, and I think the Bible is helpful. I do, but you can find God without it and then read it afterwards. That's the way I see it. So, I mean, come on. Who's believing that that's how they decided to build these on top of the rock like this? Are we honestly buying this? I'm not. Anymore. What's this one? Yeah, look at this. How would you describe this? This got melted. Period. End of story. That's what happened there. Period. Exactly. Just randomly put some bricks up there, because that's important for the stability, I guess. Look, the thing went down and we weren't here. Can I prove it? No, but guess what? These things help me understand it happened. It's like I described to someone. If I told you that a train was coming by at noon, and it came by at noon, but you didn't show up until 2, and you're like, hey, I don't see a train, I'm going to tell you, well, it went by. And then you're going to say, well, I didn't see it and I don't see it, so it didn't happen. I can't tell you the things that happened before I showed up. I believe we're a whole generation of orphans that went on the orphan trains and whatever. We got repopulated in all these cities, all these buildings that were founded that we couldn't have made. And so there's no way I can prove it to you other than I can show you this evidence and say, explain to me how you get a building like this. Explain to me why there's a rock face on that mountain. Or this. Someone, as Shapu says, make it make sense. Because this don't make any sense. That makes no sense, as my guy says. What does make sense is God's destruction. Because why? Because nothing's new under the sun. They're still doing the same sacrifices. And they show you by making the identical buildings. Isn't that wild? So, all right. Enough of that. So, yeah, nothing to see here. Okay. I do believe we're the reset babies. Yes. Or at least our ancestors were. So, yeah, hit you right in the head. Oh yeah, I do meltology. I do a decent amount of meltology. Been doing it for a while. So. Oh yeah. Yeah, I know my way around the melt. Shoot. Okay. What's next? Let's see. I'll tell you what. We have space news and then the Mandela. I'm going to clickety click this. Where is it? I lost it. Oh, where'd you go? Well, we'll just do it another way. We'll bring it up this way. We'll go clickety click. Where is it? All right, you're in one of these folders. Here we go. I'm gonna throw this on for a second and refill my coffee. It's like a 1-minute video for your entertainment pleasure.
Satellite tracking continues.
Where am I? Let's see. There we go. Now, where am I? What's going on? Well, how do we... Okay, let's see. I don't know. I'm trying to get myself back on the screen. That's weird. It's doing this thing. There, we'll go with that. That was odd. Okay. All right. You like that? There I am. And here we are. Where's my gal? I got the other gal. Let's do the other one.
And so here we are.
And that video was called Wee. So, all right. Let's get rid of space news, and then we'll hit the special guest, the Mandela effect. Okay. So here we go. This week in scary space news. So once again, I want to discuss, not only are there satellites flying around the Earth, allegedly, but all this space debris is flying around. Millions of objects. And yet, when we look up in the sky or we look through any of these telescopes or ISS or whatever's flying around out there, never seem to have trouble with any of this. Don't see it, doesn't hit anything. The satellites are fine. The ISS is fine. I don't know. They can't keep their life straight. So that's apparently going on, supposedly, allegedly. In addition to that, this is supposedly an actual video of a meteor in front of Mars. It's so wild. And they just put this out there and we believe it, right? Because we love our space. That's why they also believe that there's a ceiling fan like this flying around Mars. with the light chain still on it somewhere on this side, I think, over there. But yeah, so that's going on. And this, a first-time image of the surface of the North Star Polaris from NASA. Come on, they're not even trying anymore. That's the best we can do with that fake image. I mean, it's stupid. That's why it's so hard to do scary space news, because it's so stupid at this point. But there you go. There's your first picture of Polaris. Woohoo. Meanwhile, they still can't explain why, if we're traveling 83 trillion miles a year for over 3,000 years, these stars still light up over the pyramids. And we see the same constellations in the sky. But, don't confuse me with my facts, though. Your facts, my mind is made up, right? Because this is not what we experience. The flying through space is not what we experience. Where's that guy? This.
I don't believe I live on a cartoon ball that flies through space. The way that they say on this ridiculous model. We need to all realize that we've been lied to.
Satellite tracking continues.
Yeah, that was quite the beard, huh? That's quite the beard. Yeah, that was during those years of weirdness. But yeah. So if that's the case, if we're flying around like that, why does this still line up? Preach it, bearded CFM. Thanks, Mason. Oh, shoot. So, yeah. So we're not on a spinning ball, just so you know. There's a lot of flat earthers that have gone back on the ball. BAAL, ball. Anyways. And they can't make up their minds. So now humans have finally orbited, allegedly, the poles of Earth for the first time. And so that's them flying around. And, when you start to look at this camera lens, and all of a sudden it kind of gets all wonky out here. But they're supposedly flying over, what's this one? I think this is the South Pole with the ice wall. I've been there, right? Flat Earthers went there first, and then I went there. It's on my channel. I went to Antarctica. You can see it there. So yeah, so there's that. But wait, there's more. Here's another view, and it's like the Earth is changing sizes too in these ISS views. And there's a new thing now. They don't want to admit that there's a firmament, but suddenly in all the cartoons that they put out, there's this imaginary thing that's shown up now, and it's just suddenly there. So there's that. And then there's this one. This one looks like it has the entire Earth in it. I guess maybe it's just the windows, but still. It's a different view. So maybe they're at different altitudes? I don't know. I thought they stayed at a certain altitude. None of it makes sense because it's all lies, obviously. If you look at it close enough. It's all lies. And once again, they're calling this Earth's magnetic field, and like everything else, it makes noise.
About to hear is the real sound of Earth's.
What I can do? I can't. If you can't see it, there's nothing I can do. It's it's wild that they're pushing this and people are buying it. They're just eating it up. Here's another one. This is a moon or an Earth walk outside the ISS. But as I look at their Earth, see, it gets all kind of wonky over here on the edge here. So you got that going for it. It just looks ridiculously fake to me. All I can see is a green screen like they did in the Antarctica videos. And then they put this over it. And they're probably in a pool. Anyways. I'm not here to convince you if you're not convinced already. Just go watch a bunch of NASA things and you'll see that they lie. And the flat earthers too. New Space Force project aims to counter threats with orbital motherships. So there you go. That's all of our tax money that Trump is now saving us through Space Force. He's playing 6D chess because he knows that space is fake, but he has to do this in order to round up all of the elite Ps and the terrible people in the world, because he's going to save us along with Elon and this other avenging people. And God saved him. Remember, he got shot and his ear got blown off, but it grew back. And it's written about in the Bible. There's a head wound that's I don't know. All I'm saying is this is all fake. It's all fake. All of it, including the steeple mountain on the Io moon of Jupiter. There's that. And then this is the Olympus Mons on Mars, the highest mountain in the solar system. I'm afraid I might get some kind of YouTube strike for that picture. I wonder what that is. So there's that. I think that's everything. Oh, and then the best one. Did you know that there's a bat nebula? A Batman. There's a bat nebula. So there's that. Fantastic. All right. What's next? Oh, that's my wife's soap shop. If you're interested in the best soap that you'll ever have, and it's all natural and it helps us out. There's all kinds of bars you can buy, and it doesn't have all the weird toxins and stuff that soaps in the stores have. And I'll throw it in there. I'm head of advertising and mailing. So there. Okay. I got that done. Oh, and I'm over on Rumble and Stolen. Hellcat says that noise of the earth sounded like their stomach growling. That's cool. Okay. Let's see. All right. Now, so once I found out the times that we're in, and know this, my experience, how this went. I was living my life, working, doing all the stuff normal that normal people do, raising families and all that. And for me, it started, we were having a bunch of our kids over, having a party. I don't even remember what it was for. And I came across an article that talked about the Mandela effect. And I started freaking out as I'm reading these different things that have changed, because to me, they all changed. For me, the first one was the Berenstain Bears. Berenstein, now they're Berenstain. Growing up, again, being Jewish, growing up listening to different names, Berenstein sounded Jewish. Of course, that's why I remembered it. Now they're Berenstain. And that and a bunch of other articles, I was freaking out. And I was like showing our kids, I was like, look at this. Isn't this weird? And my wife says to this day, they probably looked at me like I'd lost my mind. And maybe, they felt that way. But when this happens to you, when you first look into this and you really look into it and you don't just think it's a misremembering or something, it can be quite terrifying. And because I hadn't gone through my spiritual awakening yet. And so what I did feel like was that moment of Wile E. Coyote when he runs off the cliff and he looks down and he knows he's going to fall because there's nothing holding him up. And that's how I felt. I felt like that for about 3 days. And I remember trying to do 3 things. Figure out how it's happening, who's doing it, and why. And after intense study, and for a few years after that, I've come to the conclusion of this. In this lifetime, we will never most likely ever know who's doing it, how they're doing it, and why. So what's the takeaway? What does it matter? The reason to me it matters, and it looks like Jen just showed up, so we definitely have to hit her because she is, you're tardy, Jen. Where's my thing? Here it is.
I don't feel tardy.
All right. And that for anybody else that showed up late too. I just happened to see you. I did some melt earlier, Jen, just so you know. What do you call it? I came out with this thought is that, God's in charge of everything. He hasn't checked out. They want you to think he has, but no, he's here. He's listening. He's in charge. So these things are happening. He's allowing it. However it's happening, who's doing it or why, or it's all within God's plan. So why would God allow these things to happen? Well, I truly believe that he's allowing this to happen to let us know that the world they taught us, it's not as it seems. It's supernatural, as they say. It's spiritual warfare, and it's real. And if we all realize that as a populace, things would be a lot different than they are right now. But to most people, this is a bunch of mumbo jumbo, fake religion, fake this, fake that. But if you really break it down, there's so many Mandela effects at this point that there's everyone, where's my guy? Everyone has at least one Mandela effect that they can't explain away. And that's where I want you to live. I want you to fixate on that and realize if there's just one that you can't explain away, then there's something to be said about this thing. And so, no, it doesn't matter in the great scheme of things if Curious George has a tail or not. But it matters in this way. It's a way to awaken you, awaken us, awaken whoever's listening. It's a way to awaken you to the time that we're in and the fact that this world is not as you were told or taught. You're not a monkey accident flying through space on a spinning ball. That's the lie. That's the nonsense. The oldest book in the world, the Bible, that people, they fight over and argue. And anyways, it's still like what? Translated more than any book, published more than any book, discussed more than any book. And all religions, all of them, start there and then branch out somewhere else. They all start in the same place. The Jewish religion, the Muslim religion, all the different types of Catholic, Christianity, all that. They all start in the same book. So why would you ignore that book? Why would you not read it? I mean, you can pinpoint history to it. You can pinpoint artifacts and stuff that they can find today. They found Sodom and Gomorrah. They've supposedly, you can still find it. I think it was Ron, forget the guy's name. They found the Ark, Noah's Ark. They found horse bridles and chariot wheels under the Red Sea. I mean, these are all provable things. So why would you avoid that book because some YouTuber told you not to read it? You need to check it out. You need to discover how all these things fit, because they all fit. And so why would God allow things to change in a way that we can't explain? To wake you up. So that way you'll question these things that you were taught never to question. And so when you get into, in my channel, that was really the first thing that I started with. I did Mandela effects. Where is it? Let's see. Clickety click. Okay. Videos. Let's see. Let's go on here. oldest. So you can see my oldest one had this weird thing that I came across where I filmed what looked like two suns to me, the white one and the yellow one. It's really wild. And then the next one is this weird thing that I took a photo of in the sky that looks like a hologram matrix. Still to this day, no one can explain what happened there. And then the rest are Mandela effects. Judge Judy didn't have a gavel, but she did. I Love Lucy. Ricky never said, Lucy, you got some splaining to do. And his name is Desi Arnaz with an A now. Good night, Gracie. Gracie never said, or George Burns never said. Oh, he says good night, Gracie, and she doesn't say good night, Gracie, back to him. She just says good night. That was a weird one. Silence of the Lambs. The guy doesn't say hello, Clarice. That never happened. My most popular video is the Timmy in the Well, which never happened, but that's a really good one. You should check that out. And so that's, I was doing all these different Mandela effects in the very beginning of this channel. And the one that started it all for me was this guy. It's called Hidden Knowledge. 8 years ago, 2.6 million views. And I remember looking at this video when I played it, and let's see. And I really had to stop it every once in a while because it was overwhelming. And so anything that I go over tonight, if it does affect you in some way, just remember this. None of this is to scare you. All of this is to let you know the times that we're in and the fact that you were lied to and how the world works. Because things can change on a molecular level that we don't understand. So the whole idea that it's called the Mandela effect is because the Nelson Mandela, including myself, people remember dying in prison, but that didn't happen. He actually came out and became like president of Africa or something, and then he died. Just like I remember Al Capone dying in prison. That never happened. He actually got out and lived a decent life on an island somewhere, and then he died. The Village People having 5 guys. This army guy was never in my reality. And in fact, if you look at what is one of the, I don't want to use the word anything offensive. It's a very effeminate video. I think it's funny that, Trump's and the Christians are all dancing to the YMCA. Meanwhile, this guy's an assless chaps. He's a construction guy with his shirt open. He's in leather chaps. I mean, come on. It's like, it's so ridiculous. But when you look at the video, and I'm not getting a strike for it, it almost looks like this is added in. It's very weird. I can't explain it, but he doesn't look like he was originally there. Because in my memory, he wasn't. There was only one very tan man, and suddenly now there's 2, and he's an army guy. Not in my reality. That's a weird one to me. How do I get out of this? That's a weird one to me. So, going back into this. And then, of course, the Scarecrow having a gun. That's wild. That was one of the big ones for me, too, in the beginning. They all have weapons now. He's got a net and like some kind of either big DDT can or a big hammer, and the what do you call it? The Tin Woodsman. He had what he always had. What did he have? He had an axe, but now he has a gigantic wrench, like out of a comic. Like it doesn't even make any sense. So that was weird. And then of course there's this talking about Snow White. This mirror on the wall was never said. It's magic mirror now. And in fact, I have an entire video on it. But where do I have? Let me see. Let me grab this other thing here. Where'd it go? I think I had a mirror on my videos. Let's see. Maybe I removed that one. I could have. Oh, I think I did because you can't play anything Disney without strikes. So yeah, that one's not on there anymore. But I will show you. Let's do this. We'll clickety-click here, and we'll go into that first one there. Clickety-click. There. Hopefully you can see that. So yeah, what they tell you is that it's from the book. I never read the book. I saw the movie. But when you go to the book, it has it. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all? It's in the book. But I never read the book. I watched the movie. And so did everybody else. Including, when they did this movie, Mirror, Mirror. Or this. Who's the fairest? You can look this up on a Google search or a Grok search or whatever. And all you're going to find is Mirror, Mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. You don't find Magic Mirror. You find this. That's how I remember it. I remember her saying, Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all. Never said that in the movie. Now the movie says, Magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all. Here's a glass. I think Brian sent me this picture. Here's a glass, official Disney glass when they were doing that stuff at a Burger King. And they got it on here. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Why would they do it wrong on the glass? A Walt Disney classic. But yet they got it wrong. And nobody noticed this when they were producing it and sending these out. Nobody stopped the presses. We have it wrong. No. Because it's a real thing, what's happening. It's real. Here's another book, but this isn't the original one. And they have it wrong. But they have it the way I remember it, along everyone else. What's this? Yeah, Snow White and the Huntsman. Why would they get it wrong? It's always mirror, mirror. You can't find it the any other way. So, is that all of them? I think that's it. Okay. So that's enough of that. But where's the other one? Here. Is it this? I used to, I had a whole series called Someone Should Get Fired.
Someone should get fired over this, right?
Because why would they make all these movies and TV shows and get them wrong?
That was someone's getting fired, is what that was.
Right? Yeah, here we go. Now, this one was a Mandela effect for me, and I didn't know about it. This was back in the day when I didn't even know anything was going on in the world other than just my job and going home and raising a family. But I remember distinctly at work one day, I drew a $sign and I put 2 lines in it, and a 20-year-old something that was around said, "Why'd you put 2 lines in it?" I said, "Because that's how you draw a $sign." And he laughed at me and he said, "No, it isn't." And you look at the keyboard, you can look at your keyboard right now if you're in front of it, and it has 1 line, and it's always had 1 line. So then why did Batman get it wrong on this cake? These shows are expensive to produce, these props and stuff. And no one said you drew it wrong. It's only got 1 line. Or just like this.
So besides shows you can watch on YouTube, there are movies. So I put on a movie.
So this was called The Silver Dollar, and you can see they drew it wrong. And I do this whole series, someone's getting fired. But yeah, why would they do that? It's wrong. Same with this.
We watched the new season of Reacher, and
the word here he's going to say is Cliff Notes, because that's what we used to use back in the day. If you wanted to cheat, that was cheating, basically. If you didn't have time to read the book, you get the Cliff Notes. And you could usually do well. Sometimes it screwed you over, but most of the time you could do well. But he says it Cliff Notes.
Uh-oh. So we thought we'd watch the new season of Reacher and uh-oh.
But it's not Cliff Notes anymore. There's an S in there now. It's Cliff's Notes. It's almost impossible to say it. Cliff's Notes. But they got it wrong there.
So we thought we'd watch the new Monk movie.
Or this Monk movie. And they got it wrong here too.
There's a problem.
He's got double lines on his dollars. Again, there isn't like a script person that's noticing this and saying, hey, this is wrong. But this is the greatest one. Don't ask me what those balloons are. Let's focus on the action here. So this one is this show. I forget what the show is. They were going to go deliver this balloons and whatever. And she's all excited. Why? Because it's like Publishers Clearinghouse and Ed McMahon. Well, spoiler alert. Ed McMahon never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse in this reality. And he never delivered checks to the doors. Never happened in this reality.
Do with Publishers Clearinghouse. Well, you could use my phone, but you've lost your my phone privileges. I have never felt more like Ed McMahon.
So why would they do this? Why would they insert this into this program if he never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse and he never went door to door? Monk's getting it wrong because he's OCD. Yeah. Frankie and Grace. Yeah. Yeah. We watched a little bit of it. It was funny for a while, and then it got really effeminate. Let's just say that. But yeah. Yeah, isn't that weird? Steph, Ed McMahon, I remember getting in the mail those things with his face on it. Never happened. Now he's with American Publishers or something with Dick Clark or whatever. But no, he was the fake. And you can find, like Brian used to play it all the time on his channel. There was and he went on Johnny Carson. Somebody went on, I think it was David Letterman. Maybe goes on Johnny Carson, pretends to be Ed McMahon and gives him a giant check. Never happened. Ed McMahon did an entire parody music video about asking for his checks back. It never happened. It's very weird, but it's never happened. And then I did this, I put this all together. How about this guy? I remember this guy as Flava Flav. That's how I remember him. Flava Flav. He's never been Flava Flav in this reality. He's now Flavor. Like you say the whole word out. Flavor Flav.
It's up, man. It don't fit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm getting my looks a new flavor.
Flavor.
Remember when Flavor Flav had that reality show?
I'm Flavor Obama. I'm trying to get that flavor. Just getting ready to kick some mad flavor in your ear.
Don't flavor hate participant.
I found a double.
Weird and strange things he sees. Man, sharing them with you.
Silly man. Oh, sorry. Yeah. They all remember Flava Flav. How about this? Another great
came across this show, and this lady's very confused. And I'm sure glad that Lily Tomlin helps her.
Now, she's discussing that she's got a pain, like she's feeling a heart attack. But she put her hand on the right side of her chest. And Lily Tomlin moves it.
It's on that
to the left side of her chest. But here's the spoiler alert. Your heart is now in the center of your chest. So this joke makes no sense. Same with this one. This guy's going to do this like trick shot and shoot this guy with backwards with a mirror. His heart's on the left. So he tells you his heart is on the left. And then he does this scene where he shoots a guy because he's used the mirror and figured it all out. In fact, one of my most favorite movies, Clint Eastwood. I think it was the first one, Fistful of Dollars, where he's he's going up against this guy. I think his name is Roja or something. And he's an expert marksman with a rifle. And he'll kill you before you get anywhere near him. So Clint, I was going to ruin the movie for a bit. He's got that poncho and he puts on this steel shield. And so when the guy shoots him, he falls down, but he gets back up. He shoots him like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 times. And finally, Clint Eastwood reveals and he flips up the thing. And all of it is over the left side. And the guy was known to shoot you in the heart. And instead of the center, they're all on the left side.
Judge not, lest ye be judged.
Where did you get that? Doesn't the Bible say, judge not, lest ye be judged?
I know judge not, lest ye be judged, but gross.
Why am I playing this? Because that's changed too. KJV is all I read. That's changed too. It's now judge not, lest ye be not judged.
Lest we judge not, lest we be judged. You judge not, lest ye be judged.
But doesn't the Bible teach us, judge not, lest ye be judged, Reverend?
Judge not, lest ye be judged.
That's not in the Bible now either. It's now judge not, lest you be not judged. All these shows got it wrong.
When the lion will lay down with the lamb.
And that's now no longer in the Bible either. Now the lion doesn't lay down with the lamb. The wolf dwells with the lamb. Totally different meaning. The wolf is dwelling rather than the lion laying down. This is not in the Bible anymore. Why did all these shows get it wrong?
And the lion shall lie down with the lamb.
That guy's actually reading from the Bible, but it's not there. So we're watching this movie, or trying to, and then they came to this. And then now you've got the Lord's Prayer, as they call it, in Matthew. Yeah?
Hallowed be thy name.
Right?
Thy kingdom come.
Right?
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
He said on earth, which is good.
Uh-oh.
Because now it's been changed to in earth.
Uh-oh.
And trespasses. Trespasses. The KJV now says debt. All these movies got it wrong. This is in another language. Of course, duh. He's got on earth. Trespasses. It's not in the Bible anymore.
Ceremonial green cacao. Wrong.
And this one, I'm not one of those guys that takes credit for things, but I hadn't heard anyone discuss this when I went to look up something about the Mayan calendar, and I couldn't find it. Why? The Mayans have never existed. The Mayas, there's no N anymore. So these people got it wrong.
And blessed in the ancient Mayan tradition.
Mayan. Never happened. There's no N in Mayans anymore. There's no Mayan calendar. It's the Maya calendar.
No one cares about the math, bro.
No? Bro, peace. What if his theory actually checks out?
Come on, bro. The Mayans?
The Mayans. The Mayans. So we were watching this show the other day, and what happens? Mirror, mirror on the wall. That should have gone with the other ones, but you get it. How about this guy?
That when you put a wallpaper, it'll be intelligent. Wallpaper will be as intelligent as your computer today. In the future, you'll go up to the wall screen and you'll say, mirror, mirror on the wall.
Why would he show that with that cartoon if that never happened? Never happened.
Saving the world looks a lot like a suicide note to Sharice.
Look at fires, looks like death.
What?
It's a verse from Revelations.
Revelations with an S. Now when you look at your book, there's no S.
Heavenly Father, you showed us where two or more are gathered.
That's changed now too. It's 2 or 3 now. That happened right around the when they were locking us down and telling us we can't be around more than 3 people. That Bible verse now says where 2 or 3 are gathered, not 2 or more, like these people remember it when they mess up this movie.
So I was told about this show called Firefly.
Now here's a big one. For those of us that remember Volkswagen, the VW, when you look at it now, the logo is separated. So then what happened with this movie?
Put it on, and lo and behold, a few minutes in, what do we have here?
Look at that. That's the way I remember it. Still connected. But it's never been that way either. So there's that. Okay. Let's get out of that. So yeah, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Clickety click. See that? The Mayan. I typed in Mayan calendar and there's no N. And the Maya civilization. No N. So why is everyone putting the N there when they never existed? In fact, there's a video I can't play. It's a Saturday Night Live one where they make jokes about the Mayan calendar. And the video is actually called the Mayan calendar. And it even has words that are written in there about the Mayan calendar and yet never existed in this time. So let's go back. You guys okay with this? So, okay. All the things that you used to see with like a snake going through the eyeballs, that's impossible now because there's now bones in the eye sockets. So that doesn't work anymore. Tony the Tiger's nose is blue. J.C. Penney now has an extra E in it that I never remember. H's eyes are now blue. She never said you like me, you really like me. She now says you like me right now. This one keeps changing. I don't even know what it is anymore. But sometimes it's Chuck E. Cheese and sometimes it's Chuck E. Cheese's. But sometimes they flip back and forth. Yeah, here you go. Desi Arnaz. And he never said Lucy got some splaining to do. Procter and Gamble. I don't remember it being spelled this way. It's Proctor. It used to be Proctor. He never sings "This is a beautiful day in the neighborhood." He says "this neighborhood," like he doesn't give a crap about your neighborhood. Oops. Let's go. Interview with a Vampire is now Interview with the Vampire. We used to not wonder. We would wonder if she was smiling or not. Now she's totally smirking. And as this keeps changing, you know, there's this veil appearing. She's got this wart up by her eyeball. And I think we've discussed it with Jen on her channel. You can see a bridge there, and this is probably like some melted buildings and stuff now. I don't know. Johnny B, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. This one, the Home Depot. It's always been the Home Depot. Well, they talk about things that's called residue. I have some residue on that. If I can find it. Let me bring this up. That's Rogue Nation. He was wearing, that's another one. Red under the blue. This is now white on our flag. That's changed. They got it wrong at this office. They got it wrong on this truck. They got it wrong on this statue. And Uncle Sam no longer has the stripes on his hat, just so you know. If you can see way back in the background there, it says Looney Tunes with 2 O's. the way I remember it, instead of UNES like it is now. Here, I took these pictures. There's a Home Depot nearby out in this area. And the store is, well, in the current reality, the Home Depot. But by the highway to announce that the store's coming up, I found a sign that hadn't been changed. Look at that. And I looked these up. These signs are several $1,000s to produce. And you think they would have done it correctly. So every once in a while, no one can explain it. There's certain things like that VW bug didn't change and the glass mirror didn't change. This Home Depot sign didn't change. So again, you could explain it away and saying some idiot did it and they just went with it because they'd already paid for it or something, or it's changed. The store changed and the sign didn't. So that's something. There's the gun. Yeah, there you go. Look at this thing. You're telling me you all remember him having a gun? He's got his net, which I remember, and he's got whatever this is, a hammer or DDT or something. He's got his axe and a giant wrench. I think she had a grenade. I don't know. It's just like suddenly they're all armed. It's weird. Very weird. Smokey the Bear. He's now just Smokey Bear. He doesn't have red suspenders anymore. And the actual word Smoky has changed. If you looked at the Smoky Mountains, there's no E. It looks like Smoky Mountains. In fact, the only proper use of Smoky with an E now is when you're describing Smokey Bear with no suspenders, or like Smokey and the Bandit when you're discussing a police officer on the road. That's it. The actual word smoky, like this room's full of smoke, it's very smoky in here. There's no E anymore. It looks like smoky. And then this one. First of all, in the first movie, he shouldn't be going along this because he doesn't get a medal anymore. They waited until like 20 years later. But I remember distinctly Leia reaching up, him bending down, putting the medal on him, and then he screams and the movie's over, right? He used to have 2 yellow legs like this. Now one of them is white. These are yellow. I don't know how some of these pictures make it through, but when you look at the original movies now, it's a white leg. Here's more dollar signs that they got wrong. Like somebody had to have read through these and said, you've done it wrong. They're all wrong. Oh, this is a big one. I like this. We brought gold and frankincense for you, Jesus. And then you've got the OxyClean. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's myrrh. Now, first of all, OxyClean has an I. And second of all, this guy has now never said, but wait, there's more. He never said it now. That's a weird one. That's a weird one. This one was huge because my wife, being in the medical profession, HIPAA, the way I remember it, is this top one. I made this. The Health Insurance Portability and Privacy Act. There was a second P for privacy. HIPAA now is Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Changes the complete meaning of this word. Completely changed. And if you're in the medical field and you don't believe in the Mandela effect, this one should rock your world. Because there's no more privacy in the HIPAA Act. It's all about accountability. That was huge. And then these people at the Illinois Department of Human Services did it wrong. It's not a HIPAA violation. It's a HIPAA with 2A violation, right? They got it wrong. They got it wrong. And then you get to the the personal Mandela effects, those are the weirdest. This is a spot on our house. And I'm telling you, and we remember when we bought this, we've been here forever. There was no wood that was cut like this. I can't explain it, tell you that this moved in closer or whatever, but this was never there. Trust me, my wife knows this house very well. That was never there. In addition to that, I worked on this, it's like a little fountain thing. And I worked on it. I was standing right here working on it because I had to fix it and seal it up and stuff here. And then one day I went out there and this tree was here. And I thought, oh, shoot, the tree fell over. But no, it didn't, because it goes right into the ground and it bends over this way. And so now it would be impossible to be standing where I was. I can't explain it. Do I sound crazy? Sure. I'm just telling you what's happening as I see it. And this was one of my first ones that was a personal Mandela effect, because I used this saw, and then it was like the same week I went to use it again. And the cord was cut, and it was twisted together with this thing here. And it's old. Like, it's been like this for a while. There's no way I would have ever done this or used it this way. If you know anything about me, my wife knows, I would have never done that. It would have freaked me out too much. I would have either replaced the cord or get another one. So that one's weird, these personal ones. I remember this is Meet the Millers. It's now called We're the Millers. I remember the pyramids having the 4 sides. Now when you look from above, there's 8 sides. Each one of them has like a little bend in the middle. That's weird. So yeah, they exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worshipped and served the creation more than the creator. That's in Romans. God's allowing the strong delusion of the supernatural Bible changes. And that's the other thing. Why did all these things change? It's because God's looking for us wherever we are. If you're a Bible reader, you'll find the Bible changes. If you're a movie watcher, you'll see the movie changes. If you're a music lover, you'll hear the changes there. Like the Rolling Stones, I See a Red Door and I Want to Paint It Black. The song is called Paint It Black, and now they sing, I See a Red Door, I Want It Painted Black. It's totally different. So he looks for you wherever you are. If you're in nature, you'll see things that have changed in nature. Like I moved out here and we picked blackberries. They were very sporadic. Now all the blackberries are right at the end of the thing. They're really easy to pick. That was a cool one. But there's so many things. There's going to be at least one thing that's going to make you give pause tonight if you haven't already. And like I said, God's allowing this so we can wake up to it. He wants us to wake up to the supernatural that we live in. That's what's going on.
In all the Eastern religions...
Oh, we'll go over that guy a little bit later. All right. That's enough of that. How do we get out of this? What else? So then you get into the Bible changes. And again, I've been called all kinds of names on YouTube. And I did a stream with the Midnight Ride people. Had a great time. But I started talking about Mandela effect, not knowing that they're complete non-believers. And they called me heretic and said I was sending people to hell and stuff. All right, whatever. All I know is this. I read the Bible all the time. I noticed the changes. I recorded a bunch. This is on my channel. Go watch it. It's a Bible Mandela changes. And when you get past all this other stuff, which is interesting to see, you'll see that, oops. Judge not, lest ye be judged. And I can't play it because I have really cool music on it. I'll get a copyright straight. And then you've got, let's see. See? Judge not that ye be not judged. And I have an ancient Bible. It's actually behind me there over by the pillow, which is upside down. And I can show it to you. In fact, this is what it looks like. This is the cover to this beautiful Bible I was given. And it's changed in there. And in fact, what's really wild about this book, it's got things like these etchings, these paintings or whatever, lithographs and stuff. This is from the 1880s, this Bible. And when you look at this page, it has it correctly, except it says here it has in earth instead of on earth. But it has the way I remember with trespasses. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive them that trespass. It's got it. It also has this page in the same Bible where it has it. It actually has it correctly here. I think it says on earth. Yeah, it says on earth on here. And then it has trespasses. But yet, the same book on the page before, it says debts and debtors. And another weird thing is on line 14, it continues on with trespasses. And so, in line 15, trespasses. So if he's talking about debts and debtors, why did he switch to trespasses here? This was a huge one for me. And again, I read the Bible and I keep going back through it, and then every once in a while one will change, and then I'll notice it and discuss it. Arise and take up your mat and walk, because this was the guy that Jesus saw him and he couldn't get to the waters because he couldn't walk, or he got lowered down. He was on a mat. Now he's on a bed. And I think this is a 1600 Bible that I had online. But in my KJV, it's changed to a bed. Now there's 7 instances of unicorn in the Bible, which some people say was rhinoceros. But I don't remember it being in there. There's 8 instances of pissing in the Bible. You didn't know I was on Mandela? It's on my channel. The interview I did with them, I did it with John Pounders. So I wasn't on their channel. I was on mine. And then the next night they did a hit piece on me. That's fantastic. Yeah, and this one where he tells Moses, you're going to see my back parts, which is his butt. And I matched that up with, we were blessed to go see the Sistine Chapel, and right next to the famous painting of Adam and God, this is God and his back parts. So that's part of our reality now. Alien is now in the Bible 12 times. Let's see. This was a big one. This one I came across when we were dealing with those 4 years where there was a deadly virus going around. And it says here, for he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. Well, that makes sense, except now it's noisome. From the noisome pestilence. Which says to me that he's saying it's not deadly, it's out of these machines. It's people telling you it's out there. I mean, some of these things changed right around the time that we were dealing with all that nonsense. Like the 2 or more, it's now 2 or 3. Here's bottles. 7 instances of bottles. It's no more wineskins. In fact, they didn't even have bottles from what I understand back then. But now you put new wine into old bottles. It used to be wineskins. Try to convince me different, you'll never do it. 5 instances of matrix, which used to be the womb, but now it's the matrix. What's this one? This one. This was 2 men in a field and 2 women grinding at the mill. Now it sounds very sexually suggestive. 2 men in one bed and 2 women grinding together. It's no bueno. And the word hallelujah, now you can find alleluia, but hallelujah, which in Hebrew means praise Yah, it's not in there. I looked, unless it's come back, but as of the time I made this video, I looked, it's not there. You're that tardy, Caros. Groot. And I see TJ. Hey, TJ. This one I saw blew me away because I love the book of Job. I keep telling people to read the book of Job. There's so much in it. And this famous saying by Job, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. He never said that now. It's all past tense. And this is from my actual Bible. The Lord gave and the Lord hath taken away. And then the last one here, where he's crucified on a cross. Now there's 3 instances where he's hanged on a tree. I can't explain it. I'm just here as a watcher on the wall to present it. And if you think that it's always said that, I can't help you. I just know that these things have changed in a supernatural way that can't be explained. Oh, Samuel Watcher, thank you. God bless you. Faith of a mustard tree now moves a sycamore tree into the ocean. That's brand new to me too. I used to sell mustard seeds in little capsules because of the mustard seed thing. So you're telling me that's not there? I'll have to look at that. That's wild. That's wild. Oh, and I didn't see. Thank you very much, Mason Milt. And he advertised your soap, Jeannie. God bless you. Yeah. It's pretty wild. Are you learning? Where's my guy? Here we go. Doug got Warrior Man soap. Yeah, that's the my wife is now making Warrior Man soap. Get yours today. I haven't even gotten any yet. You keep selling it. I haven't even tried it yet. I want some Warrior Man soap. So, all right. A lot of changes, and I didn't even finish this one video that where is it? Oh, how about this one? I forgot about this one. Since we were discussing Snow White so much, I totally spaced this one. Now again, I'm not playing it because Disney loves striking you. But right here, the 7 dwarves sing "Hi ho, hi ho," and then what's the next line that you remember? I remember, "It's off to work we go." Go watch it now. It's home from work we go. What? Does anybody remember it? It's home from work? So there's that. All right. Yeah, this one's called "Bible Changes a Sign of the Times Must See Video." It's only got 855 views. We didn't push that up. I don't get any money for that because of the music I put on it, but it's a really important video for people that are reading the Bible. Okay, the Home Depot. This was the first one for me, the Berenstein Bears. You got some explaining to do. I think I have a video still on that one. Double stuffed Oreo with 1 F. Seth MacFarlane is Seth MacFarlane. The Wicked Witch never said, "Fly, my pretties, fly." She just says, "Fly" 3 times. I remember as Jen goes over this well better than anyone, 4 people in this car. Now there's 6. Oscar Mayer is now, it's Cheez-Its. Is now Cheez-It. Oscar Mayer is now Oscar Mayer. Where is he? There's this silver leg. See, Volkswagen, and I showed you that video where it was the old way. What else is there? I thought there was one more. Yeah, Volvo now has the male symbol with it. I mean, we can go through all these, or I'll put the video link in there, because there's 100 of these. Since I'm saying there's one for everyone. Everyone. Skechers with no T. And in fact, they just did a whole commercial trolling us that remember it with the T, with Mr. T talking about how there's no T in Skechers. I'm not sure on this one. Yeah. Now he says good morning. He doesn't even say hello, Clarice. Cup of noodles is cup noodles. White out with no H. Fruit of the Loom no longer has a cornucopia. Katy Perry is now with a Y. Johnny Walker is now IE. Sally Field lost her S. This was a big one for me. I love Johnny Quest. No H in Johnny now. Folgers used to have a D. Mickey Mouse has no suspenders. O'Reilly's is no longer. It's just O'Reilly. The end of this song of the world is missing. Gordon's Fish Sticks is now Gorton with a T. Depend has no S. Dr. Doolittle is now Dr. Dolittle. Mike and Ike's is now Mike and Ike. Yeah, Depend has no S. How about this one? Elliot's Pizza is now Elio's. There's no T. Vlasic is spelled wrong. It used to be 2 S's. Eddie's Ice Cream had 2 D's. That just looks weird. Pennzoil has 2 N's. So something's got letters and some lost them. And the Pikachu tail, he never had the black on there. The Dash and Kit Kat is gone. The tail on Curious George is gone. This movie about Shazam with him never happened. He says, no, I'm your father, not Luke, I'm your father. The Monopoly Man never had a monocle. I mean, go on and on and on. Land masses are moving. This one was weird. I remember this distinctly. This guy, he stands up to all these tanks. And it was back in the YouTube days when they put these warnings and you had to click through it because he got killed. They killed him, ran him over. Now he climbs on board and like hands him flowers and stuff. It's really weird. Vicks Vapor Rub. What is this one? Looks the same to me. Oh, it's missing the apostrophe. All right. Herbal Essence now has an S. Coca-Cola Zero instead of Coke Zero. Marilyn Monroe's little thing is moving around. Her, but that looks about, no, it is. Yeah, see? First it was here, now it's out here. Moses, wait, what is this? Oh, this one's weird. My wife still hears it the other way. I've always heard him say, oh, Lord. But he says, hold on. But now everyone hears, oh, Lord. I don't know. Moses has horns in almost everything now. That's a weird one. OxyClean, of course, like we said, used to have a Y. Sex in the City is now Sex and the City. Cuba is gigantic. Anyways, I'm not going to go through them all. There's so many. There's so many. That's what I'm saying. Eventually, there's going to be one. Like this one really stuck on. My mother's birthday was always right around Thanksgiving because it was the 3rd Thursday. TTT, 3rd Thursday, Thanksgiving. And now it's the 4th. Always has been. So now it doesn't get hit her birthday anymore because it's usually a week later. That's a weird one. That's when I can't explain away, and no one can. Daylight savings time never had an S. Looney Tunes never had the 2 O's. This one bugs me. He no longer says we're going to need a bigger boat. He says you're going to need a bigger boat. He's on the same boat. Doesn't make any sense. The Chevron thing changed. Ready Whip, Pixie Stick. Anyways, for those of you that want to see this, I'll throw it in the chat. Copied. And I'll put that in there so you can check out his video. 100 different ones. I covered most of them with you all, but it's pretty fascinating. So once again, what's the takeaway? None of this matters in the way that none of this will affect you in your life. Nothing will change. There's nothing to fear. God says more than anything, fear nothing, just him. And so he's allowing these changes. Oh yeah, I forgot about the dolly and the braces. That's a wild one. In Moonraker, he falls in love with Dolly because she has braces and he has metal teeth. Now she doesn't have any braces. Makes no sense. The takeaway is this. However it's happening, whoever's doing it, God is allowing it to happen to wake us up. The buildings are there to show us that some type of God's judgment has happened. And the Mandela effect is there, including the Bible changes. The Word of God's not changing. The book, the printed words by man, those are changing. And that's why God says in the end, you'll have it written in your heart. Because those of us that read the Bible all the time, we notice these changes. And so we speak out. I speak out here. Will I go to my church this Sunday and try to tell them and explain them? No. They don't want to hear it. That's not for me to do, at least at this point. What God put on my heart is to do this and to reach whoever's watching this. And maybe there's some people tonight that were watching that didn't believe in the Mandela effect, but this has made them like rethink that. And so again, when you research this, don't be afraid of any of the changes. Nothing. The fact that the scarecrow has a gun will not affect my life in any way at all. The continents change. It doesn't affect me. Even the body changes. It's not affected. Well, that might, but it's not. The takeaway is we've been lied to. We live in a supernatural world. We live in a spiritual warfare. And the only way through it is with your connection to God. And so that's why I do this show. That's why I have this channel, is to explain that to people that are afraid because they think it's all about religion. And it's not. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. But I do read the Bible because there's a lot of good information in there. And I highly encourage you to read it, especially as it changes. You want to read it before it gets so ridiculous. I go back to that discussion we were having. If they change the ending to Moby Dick, the next generation of people growing up wouldn't know it was changed. And so as the Bible changes, those of us that remember the old way, if we stop reading or if we die off or we're not around to discuss it, the new people coming up will only know it the new way. And so part of what I'm supposed to do is to refresh people and let people know this is part of your awakening process. It is a real thing. It's as real as the earth that we live on, and God's right here with us. It's as real as that. And know that God's using that, allowing it to happen, to wake you up. To not just the fact that we live in a supernatural world, but the times that we find ourselves in, which I believe is the little season.
Pizza.
Okay? So, well, that's just several hours in. We've covered everything that I can think of. Do I have any more pictures? Oh, yeah, I have these. Let me get that. Click here and here and here. This is how that Bible that I have. This is another one I discovered. This olive branch that everyone uses as a look of peace, because when Noah and the ark, they let the dove out, and he came back with an olive branch, which told us that, the earth is back. He never came back with this, even though it's in this Bible from the 1800s. He now comes back with a single leaf. There's more than one lunatic in one of these. I forget which one it is. In one of the Gospels. There's 3 lunatics in one of the Gospels. Yeah, that's the Bible. There you go. Judge not that ye be not judged. And on this page, it has the part about trespasses. Where is it? Debts, right here. You'll see it in a second. But see this rice paper? In between, it has this one, which I showed you earlier, where it says on earth, and it says trespasses. But on the page right before that, it says debts and debtors. In the same book, one page apart from the 1800s. Same with this one. It's in the same book where it has trespasses. Moses with horns, that's in my book. And now they put Moses in an ark instead of a basket. So that one's different. And he no longer breaks tablets. He breaks tables. And again, from the 1880s, when this book was published, it says tables. It's fascinating. Can I explain how it works? No, neither can you, but it's happening. What's this, Jenny? God bless you. Thank you for the super chat. What is this? Revelation 1:13. All right, let's look. All right. That's weird. I'm assuming you're talking about the midst of seven candlesticks under one light of the Son of Man, clothed in a garment down to the foot, girt about the paps with a golden girdle. So they're saying Jesus is wearing a girdle, I guess. Interesting. Have to look into that one further. But yeah. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you very much. God bless you. But yeah, what do you think about that? Tables. He brings down tables. Shoot. That's something else. What is this? We're in the little season until Jesus creates another one. It was so good. We can't believe Satan. Yeah, exactly. Amen. Looking for that day when he comes back and we're done with this. And we'll have the correct earth that we're supposed to live on. And we'll be with Jesus. It's wonderful. Okay. I got you. All right. Good. Good. Again, I didn't do any of this to upset anyone. I did this to help you along with your awakening process. We're being lied to about where we are. And this is happening. And the reason it's happening is God's allowing it to wake us up. So as we go through these times, dear Lord, please watch over us. Guide us through these times. Open our eyes and ears and open our hearts to allow this information in that you're sending our way. And give us the patience to not only allow it for ourselves, but to our loved ones and friends and family that aren't there yet. As you've been patient with us, grant us the patience that you have. Because once we make that connection, once we've found you and know who you are, the joy that fills our hearts, I can't explain. Everyone has to feel it for themselves. But as you've promised, it takes away all the fear, including in this Mandela effect. And we thank you for all our blessings, including allow us to see the changes to grow us closer to you. And so again, I thank you for all of our blessings. Please continue to watch over us, help us, heal us, guide us through these times. Keep love and joy in our hearts until we have that moment when we get to be with you forever. And all of this nonsense goes away. And we thank you for being here in these times and for opening our eyes to this moment. Thank you so much. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay. And protect us from all evil. I always forget that, John. Okay. All right. Well, that's it. That's close to 3 hours. Did a lot, talked a lot. Hopefully you got some information from it and had a good time. So once again, thank you all for being here. If you enjoyed yourself, don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. That all helps. And God willing, we'll do this again very soon, if nothing else, by next Friday. So with that, you get this, he says with a knife in his leg.
Class is dismissed.
All right. And now what some people say is the saddest song on the internet. But don't worry, nay, nay, we'll be back again. God bless you all. Thank you for coming, and thank you for all the love and the support that you show. You're a very wonderful, loving audience, and I appreciate every one of you. I really do. So having said that, have a good night, everyone, and we'll see you very soon. God bless.
I'm the satellite.
500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
Satellite transfer complete.